IOBT IO Biotech Incorporated Technical Analysis. General Overview and Trend. IOBT has experienced significant volatility over the past 3 months with dramatic price movements. The stock has seen prices ranging from a low of 0.980225 to a high of 247.73. The most recent price from August 15th closed at 216, which is near the high end of its recent range. The stock has shown several explosive moves, particularly on July 14th when it jumped from 146 to 17, and on July 28th when it moved from 211 to 24. The most dramatic move occurred on August 11th when the stock plummeted from 188 to 105 on massive volume, followed by a recovery to 216 on August 15th. Looking at the trend, the stock appears to be in a recovery phase recently, especially with the strong move on the last trading day where it closed near the high of the day with substantial volume. Price and volume analysis. The price action shows that IOBT has been extremely volatile. On August 15th, the stock had a significant bullish move, opening at 14 and closing at 216, which represents a gain of 54.29% in a single day. The volume on this day was 37,965,452, which is substantially higher than the average volume, indicating strong buying interest. Looking at volume patterns, we can see that higher volume days often correspond with significant price movements. For example, on August 11th, volume was 82,891,208 with a price crash from 188 to 105, and on July 28th, volume was 2,185,645 with a price move from 211 to 24. The recent surge in both price and volume on August 15 suggests strong momentum and possibly a recovery from the sharp decline. Moving averages EMA and SMA. Looking at the moving averages, short-term averages show that the 5-day EMA at 165.45 is above the 5-day SMA at 1,422, indicating recent upward momentum. Medium-term averages are mixed, with the 10-day SMA at 1,707 and the 10-day EMA at 169.49, both below the current price of 216. Longer-term averages like the 50-day SMA at 166.48 and the 50-day EMA at 165.61 are also below the current price, which is a bullish signal. The fact that the current price of 216 is above most of these moving averages suggests a bullish trend in the short term. The MRs are generally higher than the corresponding SMAs, which also indicates upward momentum. Technical indicators. Trend indicators show that MACD at -00382 is below its signal line at 00237, with a negative histogram at -00619, indicating bearish momentum. However, given the recent price surge, this might be lagging. ADX at 31.7355 and ADXR at 31.6933 are moderate, suggesting a developing trend. A rune up at 44.0 and a rune down at 84.0 show a downtrend, with a rune oscillator at -71.4286, confirming the bearish trend, but this might be outdated given the recent price action. Momentum indicators show RSI at 58.7384 is neutral, suggesting balanced momentum. Williams R at -15.7168 indicates some buying pressure. MFI at 34.2109 is in neutral territory. CCI at -5.8207 is neutral. ROC at -10.0 shows negative momentum, but again, this might be lagging the recent price surge. Volatility indicators show Bollinger Bands with the upper band at 263.33, middle at 1,906, and lower at 117.87. The current price of 216 is above the middle band but below the upper band, suggesting the stock is not overextended. ATR at 0.306 indicates the average true range is about 14.17% of the current price, showing high volatility. Volume indicators show Chaikin oscillator at -141076747, 7373 is negative, indicating distribution. OBV at -30305756 is negative, suggesting selling pressure, but this might be influenced by the sharp decline on August 11th. Linear regression. While not explicitly provided in the data, We can infer from the price action and technical indicators that the linear regression trend would be upward in the short term but downward in the longer term, given the recent recovery after a sharp decline. Next trading day opening prediction. Given the strong close near the high of the day on August 15th with substantial volume, it's likely that the next trading day could open higher. The recent price surge suggests strong buying interest, which could carry over to the next session. However, the conflicting technical indicators and the sharp decline earlier in the month suggest caution. A reasonable prediction would be an opening around 210 to 225, potentially with some volatility as traders digest the strong move from the previous session. Support and resistance analysis. Based on the data, the immediate resistance would be at the recent high of 216. If the stock breaks above this, the next resistance level would be at the Bollinger Band upper level of 263.33. Support levels show the first support would be around 190, which is the Bollinger Band middle level. Below that, support could be found at the recent consolidation levels around 160 to 170. Further support is at the low of August 11th at 105. The current price of 216 is at resistance, suggesting that the stock could face some selling pressure at these levels. However, the strong momentum from the recent surge could carry it higher. Based on the current price's distance from support and resistance, intraday movements could see the stock testing the 216 level initially. If it holds, we could see further upside. If it fails, a pullback towards the 190 to 200 range could occur. Possible high and low values based on ATR 14. The ATR 14 value is 0306. This suggests that the average daily range is about 0306. The possible high for the next session would be 216 plus 0306, which equals 2466. The possible low for the next session would be 216 minus 0306, which equals 1854. Given the high volatility of this stock, these ranges are quite possible and could even be exceeded if the strong trend continues or reverses sharply. Possible scenarios. In a bullish scenario, if the momentum continues, the stock could break above the 216 resistance and move higher toward the 250 level. The neutral indicators could shift to bullish as the recovery continues, and the stock could potentially reach 260 to 275 in the short term. Volume would need to remain strong to support such a move. In a neutral scenario, the stock could consolidate around current levels, with the 216 level acting as both support and resistance. This would allow the indicators to normalize before the next directional move. In a bearish scenario, if the recovery loses momentum, the stock could pull back toward the 190 support level. If selling pressure intensifies, a retest of the August 11th low at 105 is possible, especially if there is negative news or broader market weakness. Conclusion. IOBT has shown a strong recovery move recently, closing at 216 on substantial volume after a sharp decline earlier in the month. The technical indicators are mixed, with some suggesting upward momentum while others indicate bearish trends. The stock is at a critical juncture, facing resistance at current levels. The next session could see significant volatility as the market decides whether the recovery will continue or if it will stall. Traders should watch for a sustained move above 216 for further upside, or a failure at this level for a potential pullback. Risk management is crucial given the high volatility and the sharp price movements this stock has experienced recently.